Radio What Studios, and this is my podcast, What Makes You Smarter. It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time, DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote. And maybe you can have me at your next event. Make your next thing a big one. One thing I've been booking a lot of, and I'm very happy to say, weddings. Weddings are coming back. Oh my goodness. I hope we're almost out of this coronavirus thing. I know there's no cure out there, but we are taking precautions. We're taking, making sure that we stay away from each other. Social distancing. I think social distancing will definitely be the words of the year. It has to be. It has to be. How could it not be? Wearing the masks, all that kind of thing. So yes, I got weddings coming up. In fact, I have a wedding tomorrow night. This week's shows, well, tonight I will be at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. Friday night, it's my usual Friday night gig, video dance party, karaoke jam. You're the stars of the show. Karaoke. It's what I said. Karaoke. That's you could find me there usually about 50 Fridays a year. Yeah. It's my usual spot. Maybe I'll take a couple Fridays off. Maybe I'll find something else to do on a Friday, but I really can't find anything that I like better than hanging out at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. Friday night, 8 p.m. until 1 a.m. Full bar, kitchens open, pool tables, pool tournament on Friday nights. So if you want to try to make some money on a Friday night, I encourage you to do so. Come and see me tonight at the Rab. Now, tomorrow night, I'll be at a wedding. So unless you're invited, you can't come. But I know it's going to be a good time. I've known these people for quite some time, and I'm very excited to be a part of their wedding. Yay! They're getting married. Also, if you'd like to tell your story or hear the stories of others, I encourage you to check out my other podcast, What Makes You Famous. Find it everywhere using the hashtag What Makes You Famous. Speaking of hashtags, I like using hashtags to help people find all the stuff that I do. Use hashtag KeysDAN Gaming to find me gaming. Yeah, I'm doing some online streaming. Let me know how I'm doing. Watch me fail miserably. Now, on with the show. Today on the program, 10 things you need to know today for Friday, September 18th, 2020. 10 things you need to know today. Number 1, judge blocks USPS changes that slowed mail. A federal judge in Washington state on Thursday temporarily blocked controversial operational changes at the U.S. Postal Service, siding with 14 states that accused President Trump and Postmaster General Louis DeJoy of trying to slow down deliveries to thwart mail-in voting. Stanley Bastian, chief judge of the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Washington, called the changes, quote, a politically motivated attack, end quote, that could disenfranchise voters by slowing deliveries and leave states unable to, quote, effectively, timely, accurately determine election outcomes, end quote. Bastian noted that 72% of high-speed sorting machines decommissioned were in counties Hillary Clinton won in 2016. A lawyer for the USPS, Trump, DeJoy, and other defendants argued that Postal Service can handle the election season rush even with the changes. This is according to the Washington Post and CNN. Number 2, report CDC testing guidance written by HHS. A controversial recommendation on coronavirus testing the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention released last month was written by Health and Human Services Department officials, not CDC scientists, the New York Times reported Thursday, citing internal documents and people familiar with the matter. The guidance said it wasn't necessary to test people exposed to the coronavirus who showed no COVID-19 symptoms. The administration said the recommendations came from the CDC, but the Times sources said Trump administration officials rewrote it and posted it without the normal scientific review. One federal official said the document, quote, came from the top down, from the HHS and the White House Coronavirus Task Force, end quote, and, quote, does not reflect what many people at the CDC feel should be the policy, end quote. This is according to the New York Times. Number 3, former model accuses Trump of sexually assaulting her in 1997. Amy Doris, a former model, came forward in an interview with The Guardian to say that President Trump kissed and groped her without her consent in his VIP box at the U.S. Open in September 1997. Several people confirmed to the British newspaper that Doris had told them about the alleged sexual assault just after it happened. Trump, quote, just shoved his tongue down my throat and I was pushing him off, end quote, she said, quote, and then that's when his grip became tighter and his hands were very gropey and all over my butt, my breast, my back, everything, end quote. This is Doris said she considered coming forward in 2016 when numerous women accused Trump of similar assaults, but decided not to because she didn't want to hurt her family. Trump's lawyers strongly denied that the president had ever harassed, abused, or behaved improperly towards Doris. This is according to The Guardian and the New York Times. Number 4, Sally's flooding continues as rivers rise. The remnants of former Hurricane Sally continue to drench the southeast on Thursday, threatening flooding as far north as Virginia. Rescuers in high water vehicles and personal watercrafts finally managed to reach some stranded Gulf Coast residents more than 24 hours after the storm made landfall in Alabama near the Florida state line. Authorities warned some areas in the 2 states could face a second round of flooding as rivers swollen by stormwater overflowed. As Sally weakened and pushed farther north, Hurricane Teddy threatened Bermuda and was expected to reach northern New England in the middle of next week. Around the same time, a disturbance in the Gulf of Mexico that could soon develop into a named storm, Wilfred, could threaten coastal Texas and the northern Gulf Coast. This is according to the Washington Post and the Associated Press. Number 5, former Pence aide endorses Biden. Olivia Troy, the former top Homeland Security aide to Vice President Mike Pence, said Thursday that she is endorsing Joe Biden, President Trump's Democratic challenger, because she sees Trump as a weak leader who badly mismanaged the federal government's response to the coronavirus pandemic. Troy joined a rising number of Trump administration officials and other Republicans publicly endorsing Biden in the November presidential election. Troy helped run the White House Coronavirus Task Force before stepping down last month. Quote, if the president had taken this virus seriously, he would have saved lives, end quote, she said in a video released by Republican voters against Trump. Pence said Troy never raised concerns with his staff and sounded, quote, like one more disgruntled employee that has decided to play politics during election year, end quote. This is according to USA Today and the Washington Post. Number 6, weekly jobless claims fall, but slightly. The number of Americans filing new applications for unemployment benefits fell by 33,000 to a seasonally adjusted 860,000 last week, the Labor Department reported Thursday. Weekly jobless claims soared to the highest on record when the coronavirus hit, then fell for much of the spring and summer as businesses started reopening after coronavirus lockdowns. The numbers have been holding steady or inching down since August. Anne Elizabeth Conkle, an economist at job search site Indeed, said the labor market's recovery has, quote, stalled out, end quote, even though the economy has improved significantly. Quote, while there is some rehiring going on, longer-term labor market scarring is occurring as well, end quote, she said. This is according to the Wall Street Journal, and that's it. Number 7, Oracle and ByteDance agree to Treasury terms for TikTok deal. Oracle and TikTok owner ByteDance have accepted terms proposed by the Treasury Department for Oracle's bid to take over TikTok's U.S. operations. Under the plan, Oracle would take a minority stake in a new TikTok with headquarters in the U.S. and an independent U.S. government-approved board. China's ByteDance selected Oracle as its partner, rejecting an acquisition bid by Microsoft in favor of a deal that kept majority ownership in ByteDance's hands. President Trump has threatened to shut down TikTok in the U.S., citing national security concerns. The White House and Treasury declined to comment on the latest development. A final deal would require approval by Trump and China, which has accused the Trump administration of, quote, economic bullying, end quote. This is according to Bloomberg. Number 8, White House scrapped plan to send masks to every American. The White House reportedly abandoned a plan to send 5 masks to every American household in the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic. In April, the United States Postal Service drafted a news release touting a, quote, historic delivery of 650 million face coverings, end quote. It was planning to deliver in partnership with the White House Coronavirus Task Force. The mask would go first to areas where COVID-19 was spreading rapidly and to essential workers. However, White House officials feared, quote, households receiving masks might create concern or panic, end quote, an administration official said. Instead, it sent the mask to various companies and healthcare facilities. Previously, President Trump had told Bob Woodward he tried to, quote, play down, end quote, the threat of COVID-19, later saying he didn't want to cause panic. This is according to the Washington Post. Number 9, New York schools delay start of in-person classes for second time. New York City schools have delayed the start of in-person classes for the second time, days before they were scheduled to start. The postponement followed mounting complaints from teachers and administrators that many schools simply weren't ready to receive students. The decision sent principals scrambling to hold emergency meetings to update families as many parents frantically tried to arrange child care and work commitments. New York is the nation's largest school systems. It is offering its 1 million students the option of all remote learning or a hybrid arrangement with some in-person instruction. Both plans were scheduled to begin September 21st. Now in-person instruction will be phased in, with pre-K starting next week and schools serving kindergarten through grade 5 or through grade 8 starting September 29th. Middle schools and high schools will start October 1st. This is according to the Wall Street Journal. Number 10, Louisville Council censures mayor over Breonna Taylor case. The Louisville, Kentucky City Council passed a, quote, no confidence, end quote, resolution against Mayor Greg Fisher over his handling of the fatal police shooting of Breonna Taylor, protests that followed. The resolution said Fisher, quote, failed to hold leadership of the Louisville Metro Police Department properly accountable, end quote. Fisher acknowledged the criticism and apologized. The resolution, which called for reforms, passed 22-4 after a resolution asking Fisher to resign failed. The resolution called for increasing affordable housing and conducting a review of the police department. Taylor was killed in March by officers serving a, quote, no-knock, end quote, search warrant that proved fruitless and was related to Taylor's ex-boyfriend. The council has since banned the use of no-knock warrants. The city reached a $12 million settlement with Taylor's family on Tuesday. This is according to NBC News. That's 10 things you need to know today for Friday, September 18th, 2020. Thank you so much for listening. I hope everybody out there is doing reasonably well. This has been What Makes You Smarter. Let me know how I'm doing. Drop me some comments. Leave me some 5-star reviews. Notice what I said there? 5-star reviews. It helps me to move up on the algorithm. So if you're listening on Apple Podcast or Spotify or wherever you're listening, if you can leave a comment and a review and 5 stars, I encourage you to do so. And I thank you in advance. Also, if you'd like to tell your story or hear the stories of others, I encourage you to check out my other podcast, What Makes You Famous. Find it everywhere using the hashtag What Makes You Famous. And the latest thing, KeysDAN Gaming. Yes, I've been streaming games online. Let me know what to play. I've been doing a lot of Fortnite. That game's kind of addictive. It's fun. And I guess the gorier version of it would be the Call of Duty series, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I've been playing that one too. But really, the two games play exactly the same. If you're using an Xbox controller, they play exactly the same, except in Fortnite, you get to dance around after you shoot your gun off. Okay, am I getting desensitized? Maybe. But I'm not going to shoot anybody for real. How about that? And let me know what you think about that. How about that? My little editorial at the end has nothing to do with the 10 things you need to know today. Just stuff that's off the top of my dome, my noggin. All right, party people. Thank you so much. And come visit me at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas, if you're anywhere in the area tonight, Friday nights, 8 p.m. till 1 a.m. That's it for me. It's KeysDAN, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace.